Hi, I'm Blake Repine, and welcome to Strategy, Leadership, and Impact. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Strategy, Leadership, and Impact. It's great to be back with you again. It's been a couple weeks since I've done an episode, have a couple life changes, I guess you can say. My wife and I recently bought a house, and we've been moving in and getting settled and doing a bit of renovations and things. And so it's been really good. One of the things that the new house is going to give me the ability to do is set up a proper studio/office. And one of the things I've decided to do, and I've talked about this in previous podcasts, is have my podcast in a video format, of course, to put on YouTube. Previously, I turned some of my podcasts into audiograms, put them on YouTube. They did quite terrible, and going back and looking, there's nothing to watch other than just sit and listen to it just like you would on your podcast platform. So this is actually the first podcast where I've shot video concurrently with recording the audio for the podcast. And of course, it will be up and available on YouTube. Now, you have to forgive me a little bit. My studio still isn't quite set up, so my video might not be perfect. The audio hopefully will be. It's a whole new medium for me. I feel like I've gotten very good at editing audio. However, adding the video is a whole nother dimension to it. Something else I'm going to have to learn to be able to do. But again, just like anything else, we have the ability to learn, so we'll be able to do that. If you've been a subscriber for a while on the podcast, make sure you go in and give us a review. Give us a thumbs up if you're watching this video on YouTube. And if you are a podcast subscriber, go on over to YouTube, subscribe there as well. Give us a review there too. Let us know what you think. Again, it helps promote the podcast and now the video channel. That way it's available for more people to listen to, and we can spread knowledge even greater beyond what we are now. Again, my latest book, Soldier to Executive, Applying Army Leadership Principles in the Corporate World, has done very well. Again, it's available on two of the major retailers in North America, Walmart.com and Target.com. To me, that's quite amazing. It's currently available in, I think, 22 or 23 countries around the world. It's only available in one language at this time. I'm still looking at potentially getting it translated into other languages, but also to maybe perhaps doing an audio book of that text. We'll see. I'm currently working on my next book, around leading with moral courage, which is actually the topic of today's podcast and today's video. Some people have asked me, what is moral courage? What exactly does that mean? And I'm going to read you this definition real quick, and I have to kind of look off to the side. So, moral courage is the courage to take action for moral reasons despite the risk of adverse consequences. Courage is required to take action when one has doubts or fears about the consequences. Moral courage, therefore, involves deliberation or careful thought. So to give you a quick example, an easy example of moral courage, for example, is you're driving to work one morning, you see someone pulled over on the side of the road, they have a flat tire, they're struggling to change it, or perhaps they're not able to at all. It could be a busy highway, it could be a pretty quiet street, whatever. And you have this decision to make whenever you see that. Let's say you know how to change a tire, and you know it's quite easy to do. Do you stop and help and then potentially be late to work and face potential consequences there? Or do you let them sit on the side of the road and suffer whatever it could be, the consequences to them? And hopefully you actually work in one of those environments where if you did stop and help, you could just let them know, look, I stopped and helped someone change a tire that was stranded on the side of the road, and that's why you're late, and they understand, and that's fine, and they're okay with that. If you don't know about the culture there. But also, too, it could be a really busy highway, and you could potentially be putting your safety at risk by pulling over and stopping to help. So that is a potential consequence to you as well for stopping and helping someone. Because again, their safety could be compromised too by being on the side of the road. So that's one example. Another example could be if you have that supervisor that is a bully and you call them out on it in a meeting. Of course, whenever we call someone out on things like that, we always are professional. Going back to some of my earlier podcasts and also kind of a theme throughout a lot of things I do is always treat everybody with dignity and respect. Even those bullies, you still treat them with dignity and respect because you're a professional. So as you go through it and you call them out, there could potentially be repercussions for you, no matter how professional are about it. They could sack you for it. Do you want to lose your job because you're calling someone out for being a bully? It's something you have to decide on your own. I know if I've addressed it professionally and feels like it's something that needs to be addressed and they do sack me for it, then so be it. I'll go find another job because obviously the culture there wasn't right. So if bullying's allowed and that's the acceptable norm, then that's not right. But other times too, it can be a bit more difficult. If you have friends in the work environment, personal relationships with people in the work environment, and they do something wrong. And hopefully it's not one of those people who don't value the relationship and they do something wrong and they expect for you to cover it up for them. But it could be someone who unintentionally does something that isn't correct. It could be somebody that intentionally does something like something fraudulent. They're stealing money from the organization, or just whatever it could be, something illegal, immoral, whatever. And you have to address it. And the repercussions for you are, particularly if they work for you, whatever, is you could lose that close friendship, and that could be difficult. However, you have a duty to address that. If you don't address it, then you're part of the problem. You're complicit in whatever's happening there. So you have to think about that. Sometimes leadership, things don't get easier whenever you're in a leadership position. Things actually get quite tougher because you have to make these decisions that come down to moral courage. And whenever you make a decision not to make a decision that's, upholding those values of moral courage and ethics and morals and things, then you're actually seen as someone who lacks that moral courage. And that is detrimental to the culture of the organization. Is detrimental to your own leadership abilities and at least the perceptions of your leadership abilities. So leadership isn't about just making people feel good and finding motivation and things like that. It's also about making those tough decisions that you need to make. Again, leading with that moral courage, having the courage to do the right thing. Anyway, really like your thoughts and comments on this subject. If you'd like, you can, if you're watching on YouTube, feel free to put something in the comments and I'll answer back. If you're listening on the podcast or even YouTube as well, and you'd like to give me your feedback on this or have a suggestion for another topic you'd like to hear my opinion on, feel free to email me at blakerepine@gmail.com. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn, join my network there. So just search my name, Blake Repine. Again, if you like this episode, feel free to give us a thumbs up, give us a review. Anyway, hope you have a great one. We'll talk to you again soon.